All right, thanks, Grayson. I'm here with Medicine Hat Mavericks owner and head coach Greg Morrison. We're here to talk a little bit about the 2011 season and look forward to 2012. So first off, Greg, I'll get you just to talk a bit about how this team came together earlier in April and May and how this team got ready for the season.
It's a 12-month job to get things going on the player recruitment side. Luckily, Joel Manfredi was involved the year before, and then last year I talked him into coming up to coach, so he really helped out. But really, a lot of the high-end college programs, they're committed. So a lot of those players are done for that summer by September, October. We're not in such a rush here in Medicine Hat. We know there's a lot of kids that from that NAI level or junior college level that may not have a spot, that really put things together in the spring and then need a place to play. So we're usually about half done by Christmas, and then we finish up the roster by into early May.
And at the start of the year, you went 19-4 in June. This team really got off to a hot start. What was it kind of about this team that made them come together so quickly in the year?
Yeah, we tried something a little different on a recommendation from a friend actually who had played for some college teams. They did a lot of team building, and these guys, they really don't know each other. Some of them do, but really they're from all over North America. And we get them. We only have 3 days of mini camp before the season starts, so we started having team dinners at some of our sponsors, and it really helped out those guys to mesh. They got to know who had cars and where everybody was living, and they got to meet the coaches and kind of our personalities away from the field, and I think that was a big part of it, and that's something that we're going to really try and do every year. We also had the luck of having several local guys who were actually impact players in the league, so Mitch Fry, Joel Lutz, Tyson Ford, Reed Fisher, guys that could go in there on a daily basis and produce at this level, lets those import guys look towards the local guys and say, okay, this guy's a pretty good ball player, there's some leadership here, and they really gelled.
You had a number of local players. I'll get you to talk a bit about the local guys from Medicine Hat here. Reed Fisher, Mitch Fry, they were really two of your key players in the infield, and of course Joel Lutz over there at first base.
Yeah, personally, I've known some of those guys. I've known their families, known some of their brothers, played ball with them, and it's exciting that they can compete at this level. And hopefully, this is just a stepping stone. This level, by no means are we the major leagues, but hopefully they can play with us for a year or two and progress on to the next level. But it's a feather in their cap. It's a feather in the cap of Little League and a lot of the academies in Medicine Hat that some of these guys have come through. I've known some of these guys since they've been 10, 12 years old, and a pleasure to coach. Good guys and good families.
And one of the big strengths for this team was your pitching staff. Mike Miller, 8-0 on the season. You had Chris Herrera, Billy Martin, Andrew Shoemaker also on the staff. Talk a bit about the starting pitchers and how they really helped carry this team this year.
They're older guys, and I think 3 of those guys are seniors. I think we might only be getting Billy Martin back this year, but mature guys who necessarily might not have had monster numbers at their programs, but their pitching coaches. I'm starting to network a little more, meeting a guy like Brandon DeJanes, who's at Quincy University. That's where Michael Miller's from. He sent us a guy every year at least. And Michael Miller was a different story because he was injured, and I think if he was healthy, he might have been drafted. So he's hopefully now going to move on to a professional team. But Andrew Shoemaker, lefty, great arm, could throw for days. Billy Martin, we're getting him back. Herrera, hopefully we're getting him back. But really it's just out beating the bushes, trying to find as good a pitching staff as you can. And last year we sometimes it's getting lucky and having every guy that shows up you get to see, and it's like, wow, that guy is as good as the coach said.
And your bats really led you guys this year as well. Joel Lutz and CJ Dedeaux, 18 home runs, 86 RBI between those two guys. I'll get you to talk about how they really helped lead this offense this year.
Strong guys and very athletic guys too, and I mean then you got Brian Avery too. I think he had the batting title. So when you can put that together, 3 guys, we really had when you mix in Corey Mello, even Mitch Fry, as good as defensively as he's known for. I think he hit 270, 280. But you need that if you're going to compete, and we competed close to the end. But when you look at other lineups that compete, Okotoks, Swift Current, 1 through 9, they are solid hitters, and they got deep pitching staff. So every year it's a challenge because every year every team's getting better. They're finding more college programs to find players at, and we're really just trying to keep up with everybody else and find the best hitters we can too.
And then you had quite the rivalry with Okotoks this season, highlighted by when Joel Lutz got hit and the brawl kind of came apart there on down at AP. So I guess just talk about that rivalry and how these two teams really went at it for the West Division crown all season long.
Yeah, on the field, it's very competitive with those guys. I know the owner, from Okotoks, John Urcandia. He's done huge things. We have nothing bad to say about that organization. Great guys, great group. They're putting 2,500 fans a night up in their ball games, so they're doing something right there in Okotoks. On the field, everybody knows those guys have a presence, and some people say, man, those guys are arrogant, but really they're confident and they're really what they should be out on the field. And things got a little hairy there. I think they knew Joel Lutz could swing the bat pretty good, and a smart pitcher is going to keep a guy off the plate, and occasionally he's going to hit a guy. So there was a time there where everybody was coming out and the benches were kind of a miniature brawl there, but it is what it is. And I think we played them 2 or 3 times and then went into the playoffs and played them after that brawl, and our fans were all over it, and they got us at the end. They had a couple big hits. We were up and down with that last game. Hopefully, we were hoping it would have went to Game 5, but they end up beating us in Game 4. But we're looking forward to getting back at them this year.
And then down the stretch, this team kind of went on a little 5-game skid towards the end of the year, and then you guys just kind of stumbled a bit into the playoffs. Only won 4 of your last 10 games. What was going on with this team, and what were you trying to do to correct it when you're going into the postseason?
We had a lot of home games, I think, at the start, which helped, and we were on the road a lot, and we didn't feel like this big negative streak coming upon us. We knew that when we were winning 9 games in a row, it was something to really appreciate. We knew that doesn't happen all year, and whether your league is a 48-game schedule or 160 or whatever it is in the major leagues, there is going to be a bit of a slide in every schedule. I'm not sure if we won 1 or 2 of the last going in there, but getting into the playoffs is the big thing. You want to place first, which we didn't. We ended up having to play Swift Current, but we knocked them off and got to Okotoks in the second round. So we did kind of get hot at the end there a little bit. But it is what it is in baseball, and those guys, you're going to learn more from the losing part than the winning part. So it's good to have a little bit of losing in your season.
So you entered the playoffs as the number 2 seed. You took on Swift Current, beat them in the opening round, and then you took on Okotoks in the second round. Lost in 4 games in that series. I guess talk about the playoffs and what you really seen that this team accomplished this season as a whole. I
think overall, great group of guys, great team chemistry. The caliber of the league, even from when I took over the Mavericks in 2008, it's just every year the caliber of the baseball player is, the best guy and maybe we'll say the worst guy in the team. The margin is very close now, whereas before you'd have some guys that were really fillers, if you could call them that. So there's a lot more depth on each team. We had good depth. I think we were maybe 1 or 2 pitchers away in the end, which is probably a classic story of needing a guy at the end of the game that can come in and close the door. We didn't have a whole bunch of injuries. We can't blame it on injuries. It's just really getting a little more depth in the pitching staff and having maybe 1 or 2 more key hits when you need it.
Looking forward to the winter meetings, I guess. Talk a bit about what happened there and what went down. Some of the new changes coming in 2013 and 2012 as well.
Yeah, the AGM once a year, the governors, owners get together, and this year is in Saskatoon. And we've really moved towards more of a college baseball league. So in the past, you could have former professionals playing. Even last year, there was a couple guys who had played professionally. But we are really moving towards, we want the amateur elite college player. So we're excited for that. From a sponsorship side, it's easier to go out and seek sponsors for that. The fan knows that these guys are hungry. They're 18 to 22 years old. They're looking to get to the next step. So from that side of it, I'm excited. You won't see guys like me putting on spikes anymore. People can, they know that they're going to be amateur athletes out there.
And then another new feature for this season will be that there's a balanced 46-game schedule throughout the entire league for every team. What does that mean for the team here in Medicine Hat?
That's good too. There'd be times when you could tell that some of the Saskatchewan side, they were only playing 42 games. We were playing 48 on the West. They were getting several more days off. So we were always griping about that, saying, oh, we're playing 8 games in a row and those guys are getting a day off here and there. So I think it brings more consistency to the league where everybody's playing the same amount. That team, those pitchers have all had to pitch the same amount of games as we have. Some of the smaller markets in Saskatchewan, they're not sure where they're at, if they're going to be able to be, generate a whole bunch of revenues by added home games, because really every home game you have to offset the cost of a bus and a hotel for a road game. So, here in Medicine Hat, we're okay with that. We want more games. Hopefully we can get the whole league maybe up to 48 or 50 games. If you think about it, in the Blue Jays days, they were playing 72 games, so 36 home games in Medicine Hat. It's a little tougher with the college player because they're not pro guys. We can only get them from the end of May till middle of August. But it'd be nice to get a little bit higher, but right now we're happy everybody being at 46.
And finally, we'll look ahead to 2012 a little bit. Expectations, what's going on for the Mavericks? What are you looking forward to from bringing Medicine Hat ball back this summer?
Yeah, I mean, even though there's snow on the ground, I was talking to some coaches today, and we're about halfway done our team. You know, a lot of the local guys have committed again. Reed Fisher, Mitch Fry, Joel Lutz. Billy Martin's coming back. He'll probably be our ace. He did really well for us last year. Some new faces again. That's kind of the way the league goes, and you know, I'm excited. It's our 10th anniversary, the Mavericks being in town since the Blue Jays left, so we're going to celebrate that. I know people feel like it still hurts a little bit that the Blue Jays might be gone, but you know, the Mavericks are here 10 years and 10 years strong, and would love nothing more. They won it their first year in the league in 2003. I'd love to win it in our 10th anniversary too.